Well, hello there. It's me, Naomi, the host, one of the hosts of the Survivor Michigan live reality games recap podcast. You know me, you probably tolerate me. And I am here today with, first of all, Ian, the editor of one of the editors of Survivor Michigan, Wolverine Wars. Ian, what's going on with you?
What is going on with me? I've got a lot of editing to do actually tonight after this. Not for Survivor Michigan. Some for Survivor Michigan, some for some other projects that I've taken on. So that's what's up with me. I'm always editing. That's what I'm doing.
Right. Grind never stops.
It never stops. It never stops.
Okay. And joining us today, we are so honored and delighted to have the third eliminated player from the game. It's Adam. Super fan idiot. I think you're great. Adam, how is it going? What's up with you?
It's going great. Last semester at U of M, so I'm just soaking up as much as Ann Arbor as I possibly can. Just got off of work, and I took an edible. So
here we go. This is going to be the podcast of your life or a nightmare, and we'll find out.
Or both.
Or both. So firstly, I'm so excited that we get to talk about this episode. What a banger. And Adam, I heard that you got to edit some of this. How was that?
Traumatic, emotionally scarring, one of the worst experiences I've ever had. No, it was really fun. I knew going into season 4 after helping out in season 3 that I wanted to edit my go home episode no matter what. Especially knowing how I went out, I just really wanted to take control of that story before I let it take control of me. So I got to do a little bit of the storyboard and a little bit of editing. So I'm really glad I got my hands into it because maybe my showing isn't the best.
So what did you want to maybe demonstrate that you thought might get cut, or maybe wouldn't just make it into the edit and be part of your story? Did you have anything in particular?
Well, I knew going into it that I was going to be, either someone who played too hard and got too fast, or maybe the butt of a joke. And I knew that mentally I really wanted to just reclaim that portion of my life because 2019, beginning of 2019 was not it for me. So I think to put a hatch on just that portion of my life, capping it off with Survivor, I needed to, make sure I knew what I wanted to say.
Right. I get that. I totally understand. And I thought this was a fun episode overall. I think, Adam, you've had a very fun arc, albeit a short one. And I think that I love it when a storyline comes together, right? The you and Kat relationship, the whole sort of alliance of 4, the YouTube Video Express. I think you guys all had this story that really culminated in this moment. So Ian, tell me what it's like to live this back. This episode starts off with quite the
Twist?
Surprise, the gag, the shock of the season that, oh, just kidding, Tom's idol was fake the whole fucking time. Let's talk about that. Where did this decision come into basically disguise Tom's idol as real and then reveal in the next episode?
So it was sort of a combination of things, actually. So essentially, Sam Morris came up with the idea that we should really make it look like Tom's idol is real. And originally that was just couched with, in the first episode, we showed Dale find the idol and we showed Eliza find the idol, very shortly. It's oh my God, they both found the idol, so early. It was paralleling how Eliza found it, first episode last season. But then we were we really liked this idea that Sam had come up with of making it look like Tom's idol's real, because otherwise it's a really boring vote. There was no way otherwise for it not to just be extremely boring. They're all just voting out Tom. There was basically no footage of people saying they would vote out anybody other than Tom that week. So we were there's no way. And they weren't even talking about splitting votes because they kind of knew Tom had this fake idol, because Ben plants the fake idol and then sees it's gone. This got cut out of the episode. But that's why they don't split votes, is because Ben's oh, Tom just has my fake idol, so we're chilling. We don't need to do anything. We're good here. But then we were well, it doesn't really work for you. You won't believe Tom has a real idol if you know that Eliza and Dale already have idols. Like you
Yeah.
just be like, what is this? That seems like a fake idol. It doesn't make any sense. We already saw somebody find the El Norte idol. And then we were like, wait a second, it could be even better, basically, if you don't show that Eliza found it until the next episode. And then in the next episode, you reveal it was all fake. Eliza found it a long time ago. And it can give Eliza a really kind of like fun, rousing moment at the beginning of that episode. So we thought that'd be really fun because then it was just like a really good twist, I thought. Like, you get everybody thinking Tom has the idol, and then you think he went home with an idol, which also kind of really builds up Tom as kind of a legendary figure in your mind, that he went home with an idol. Even though we know it like isn't the case, it still kind of sits with you because you've already watched that. So it sort of worked the best to build up the storylines in different ways, to have that be the case, basically.
Yeah, it felt like maybe this is me showing my age again, but like it felt like, you know, that whole thing with like Sherlock Holmes, like the Sherlock Holmes like BBC, where there was
Sherlock.
all these like where it was like all these dramatic sort of like, oh, did he live or not? And like it was like it felt like the episode after where they're explaining everything, and like this is what it was, is that you're like record scratch, I bet you're wondering how I got here, and then this episode happens. But I loved it because I think that Eliza finding the idol would have almost detracted from Dale, which we see again as a big storyline, because you, especially early on in the game as an editor, you want to have every single one of your characters shine so that nobody thinks that, one person in particular is going home. And it's a huge struggle when you have somebody notorious like Eliza sort of would essentially overshadow people like Ben and Tom finding these idols. I think it's a great editing move. I think we don't necessarily need to see Survivor in a linear fashion. And I think that you guys are proving that time and time again, which is like insane that you guys are essentially innovating more than CBS. And now you're what, like 3 or 4 times as long at this point with the news that it might be shorter? Jesus.
Oh yeah, that was crazy. One thing on to date myself even farther, the Sherlock reference, the music that I used for the Eliza like reveal is actually this. It's like a pretty famous song. I don't remember what it's called. It's a famous classical song, but it's the same song or it's a jazz song. I think it's the same song they use in Ocean's 12. If any of you have seen that movie, at the end of that movie, they have like here's what really happened, where they like go back and like show all this stuff. And I was like, oh, that's perfect. I'm gonna use the same music, and probably no one will notice. So nobody noticed, but that was the music I used because I thought it was really fun. I've started sneaking in non-Survivor music into the episodes.
And y'all don't get copyright stricken? Jesus, that's awesome. All right,
we're already using all the like CBS music, and nothing happens to us. We're not making any money off it. That's the main reason why we're chilling, I think.
Yeah. Oh, also, I literally just pulled that video up to listen. It sounds so incredibly Ocean's 12 now that you say it. I can't believe it.
It worked really well.
I know. Adam, were you surprised to find out that Eliza found the idol that quickly? And were you surprised to find out that Dale found the idol that quickly? Like, was anything in the first 3 episodes kind of a shock to you in general? Or did you know all the tea?
I mean, I did know all the tea because I'm a noticeably little bitch. So as soon as the season's over, I'm asking, all the producers, everyone, so I knew. But when I first found out, I was just like, God, these fucking crackheads. Like, I don't know. I feel like coming into Survivor Michigan, I was like, and this also has to do with like my whole super fan arc, which I always thought was funny. People referred to me as a super fan, but I think I saw maybe 4 seasons at that point. But I had like a lot of Survivor knowledge because I would watch like Peridium and browse the Wikia and like just knew all this random Survivor trivia because I had no time to watch the actual seasons.
Right.
But I only saw 4 seasons at that time, and it was like basically Cole Wrong, what was it? Millennials vs. Gen X, Game Changers, and then I guess Ghost Island, and those were my 4 seasons.
Have you not seen Micronesia? That's the one you name in the show.
No, I didn't even see Micronesia.
Real who's who of Survivor seasons. Jesus. if anybody told me that they watched those 4 Survivor seasons before a game to study, I'd be like, well, you're going home first. Those are terrible options.
Here's the thing, though. I didn't watch them to study. I watched them when they first came out because my psychology teacher, shout out to Mr. Barak, he would assign watching Survivor and analyzing Survivor from a psychologist's perspective. So Koa Wrong was my first season, was addicted for 2 years, and then like college came and I was like, I can't do this no more. But I applied to University of Maryland for Survivor because I was so into Survivor in high school. Got in, was actually in touch with some Maryland guy. I don't know who it is. His number is still in my phone under UMD Survivor guy. Left that, didn't go to like Maryland because of financial reasons, went to a college upstate in like the UP of Michigan. Shout out to the Wildcats. And then I transferred after my freshman year to U of M, and after my first semester, I like instantly saw this thing on this U of M Reddit, and I was like, they have Survivor here too. Oh my God. Like I really wanted to do this when I almost went to Maryland and all that shit. So I signed up and, they liked me. Don't remember what the question was, but
I so badly want you to text that number to find out who from Survivor Maryland that is. You don't have to, but also you guys have a U of M subreddit? What the fuck, you guys? Like this is absurd.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's true.
It's so dorky. I love that though. What were you gonna say, Ian, before I cut you off to ask the important questions?
Oh, I was just shocked. I didn't know any of that backstory from Adam. That's why I was just surprised. I was like, oh, holy shit. I didn't know any of that. I didn't know you also went to Maryland. I didn't know any of that.
Yeah.
Wow. We're talking about how we want somebody pretty badly to play College Survivor at one school and then go to grad school for another school and College Survivor there. I think that would be really iconic, honestly. So Adam, when you sort of watch this episode back, do you think about like what you could have done better, what you wanted to change about your game that might have improved? What comes to mind is like, maybe if I tried this, because I feel like people get really preoccupied with like, oh, this would have definitely done this and I would have been fine. I don't think that's necessarily true, but is there anything you wish you would have tried to maybe salvage the situation you were in instead of what you ended up doing?
Hindsight's 2020, and yeah. I know one thing that probably would have helped my game is not be Kat's #1 ally and be hers at the same time, or her be mine. But I love Kat. Kat is, we haven't talked in 2 years, but I would die on a track for her. She's amazing. All of our talks were nothing but drag race and insulting production. And those were the best times I had for the season. But I think the one thing I would like absolutely be like, this would have changed my game no matter what, is I wish I was like on campus longer. Because something that doesn't ever get brought up and that I really didn't like bringing up in confessionals was that I had to work throughout college, and the only job I had was an hour back home in Macomb, Michigan. So every weekend I would drive home because I worked at a banquet center. So we did like weddings and like funerals and stuff like that. So every weekend I'd be, packing all my stuff up, going home for 2 days, an hour away, and coming back. So it was like really weird and really difficult mindset to be in, constantly like head's not in the game, head's not on campus, head's not at U of M, but my heart is fully into the game. So I think that's what stopped me, is my heart was so into it that I just completely like went past my brain.
Yeah, I think that boils down to like the theory I've had every time I watch an episode of College Survivor, which is like when you don't have the sort of luxury to spend time on campus or invest a ton of time in the game, it really comes to bite you. And it's not your fault. Like you have a life and a job, and that's part of it. But it is like the sort of hard truth that sometimes it doesn't work out for people who have these other obligations in their life. And then sometimes you get an icon like Dylan who submits like one confessional for the first like 4 weeks, and somehow it works out. All right, here's the 2 things I wrote. Here's the 3 things I wrote down because we're going to move to the challenge. God bless El Norte for being the LaFleur of the game. Love the over-exaggerated reaction to the Tom boot, and not Ben doing the whip on the desks when they win. That are the only 3 notes I took for this episode. What? Oh God, Ian, tell me, were you there when they literally did the fucking El Norte cheer? Like, what? Because I know Adam was there, but Ian, were you there?
I was not there in the flesh for this challenge, sadly, but I heard about it and I heard a lot. This challenge is probably top 5, maybe top 3 most controversial challenges in-house in Survivor Michigan history. There's one other that's in contention, but it's either that one or this one. And yeah, basically as I tried to cut as much of it out of the episode as possible because I don't want production to ever look bad, but there was a lot of complaints. Some of it's still in there. There's a lot of complaints about the questions. A lot of people thought the questions were really unfair. A lot of people thought that, like, yeah, they thought the questions were unfair. Like the fact that there was a question and as an editor, like I've heard basically every time a tribe loses, they think that they were unfairly screwed, right? So I feel like you're always hearing like, oh, this challenge is unfair, this challenge is unfair. Most of them are completely fair. This one, I have to kind of agree with them, was kind of unfair. Because like, even though it's great for the show that Tokidoki finally loses, that's great for the show. But
not for me.
One of their
not for the show.
For the show, though, you can't just have one tribe lose all the time. But the fact that one of the questions was who on your tribe's Facebook status is married, and the answer wasn't Dale, is completely unfair. Like I do agree with them on that. That is tough. What are you supposed to do in that situation?
Yeah. Also, Austin here to say I was not there for the challenge, but watching the footage, I was dying. The El Norte chant is better than the La Flor chant.
The part Ben tries to get them to do it a second time and they all don't do it kills me every time. That's unreal.
And that's like one of the most perfect Survivor punchlines I've ever seen. Of like they're winning the challenge. This is going well, and then he's like, "All right, team spirit, El Norte." Dead silence.
Like, who are we? And it's just dead silent. He's like, El Norte. It's unbelievable.
It's like when you show up to a costume party and you've gone way too hard and nobody else has it. You're like, oh, I guess I'm going to be a zombie the whole night. Oh, well. Yeah, I loved that. I love Ben's energy this whole time. But I do agree, this challenge is a little wacky, but I like that it has multiple elements. If this was a challenge where it was just the one challenge, I think you guys would have free reign to call bullshit and say we need to redo this or do a different one. This is not fair. But the other elements I think are also very interesting. Does anybody know what the tiebreaker would have been if that was something that happened? For more questions.
You gonna say anything?
I don't know how much I want to say. I don't know what I want to. Okay, basically they do this on CBS first. I think this is fair game, basically, to say this.
If it's the rocks, I'm gonna lose it. The pulling. Rock, the colored rocks.
The tiebreaker would have been like this other challenge they had set up. It was like cups. You had to go get a certain number of cups, basically, and like whoever ended up with the last cup loses. Essentially, that's basically what it would have been. It's I don't know why I'm being evasive about this. Basically, okay, I'm being evasive about this because essentially what actually happened in real life was that they actually did do they did 3 challenges, and Tokidoki lost the first one, then won the second one, and then the third one was like the puzzle was the tiebreaker challenge. But for time, we just straight cut out the second one because it was really like it was very boring TV. It wasn't good to watch, and the challenge was already really long. So it wasn't a particularly interesting thing to watch. It was just people going and picking up these cups, basically. It went on for like 20 minutes. So we were like, we can just cut this out because it doesn't matter, and we can just portray it that El Norte won both challenges in a row, basically. So
no, that's cool. They can reward challenges and shit.
That's what I was saying. They can reward challenges, but I don't know. People on College Survivor, this kind of stuff doesn't happen as often, so I feel sort of a little dirty about it. It's like you're lying to the audience, which you don't want to do,
Yeah, but maybe.
For time, it was necessary. Like you don't want to watch like 15 minutes of something boring happening if it's not going to impact the ultimate like show at all. Exactly.
And I totally stand by that. I get it. It happens. Adam, how'd you do in the cup challenge?
Dale carried us.
Dale was actually, he texted us. Dale was like kind of upset the cup challenge got cut because he like destroyed the challenge. He was like, wow, like you guys cut out when I just crushed that cup challenge. I was like, well, the whole cup challenge was eliminated. So
sorry. Yeah, so this puzzle, quite the idea, quite the concept. you can hold on to, you have some of the other players' pieces and you can negotiate. I love these two queens, Shannon and Camilla. You couldn't have picked two more dramatic people to do this challenge, I feel like. To be like, go out, and they're like, let's go have a powwow in the hallway. Let's run. Let's go talk about this. And their conversation is adorable and so funny. They're like, let's work with each other in the merge. Okay, great. I love these two. Adam, what was the thinking behind putting Shannon on the puzzle? Because you end up voting for her, and I have to imagine maybe part of it is because she essentially loses this puzzle by like what, 20 seconds?
So I don't really remember the reason why we threw Shannon in there. I think it had something to do with her sitting out like of the first part of the challenge or something like that. So she was, we just let her do her thing. And I think she said she was also good at puzzles too. But yeah, that puzzle was it was so heartbreaking to watch because the one time I will ever say I agree with Jackson or was thinking the exact thing Jackson was saying was Shannon fucked that up. Shannon fucked that up. I wanted her to throw a puzzle piece across the room. I wanted her to play dirty, and she didn't. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a tough position to be in because you don't want to be like a dickhead to the other tribe because I feel like they'll remember that, but you do want to win. And the one thing I have to say is that I think actually losing was not a bad thing for Tokidoki as a tribe because you do need to see where tribal lines are. It was just a terrible outcome for you, and I would say Kat in particular. Like, that shit sucks. But if I'm Eliza or Dale or Jackson, I kind of want to cut somebody from my tribe to make sure that I like have tighter numbers, more solid numbers, come any other situation. Man, Adam, I just started thinking about how they like totally crapped on you for the hopping on 1 foot challenge. Like, you tried and then you fell and they were mean to you about it.
I don't know, what kind of cardio is Kat doing, what this like extreme ROT shit she's up to. But hopping is cardio, and I will argue that. There's like multiple scenes in that challenge though that don't really get a focus on, but it's like reasons why Adam is not a physical being or should be outside in the cold. Because there's one point where I like rip my jacket off, I like take my gloves off and like throw them in the snow, and then I wheelbarrow in the snow with my bare hands, and that's why I'm like weirdly holding on to like Matthew's glove, I think, in the later seasons, and I'm like, or later part of the season or part of the episode, like just running across with like Matthew's glove, and throwing up in the grate. It's just, I'm not a physical person. I knew I wasn't going to be a physical person. In fact, the thing I told people I was good at was untying knots, because I was like, there's a lot of knot untying in Real Survivor, so translating, it'll work well. But it's just
we're always thinking of not untying knots. That's what we're all it's like the Don Mulaney joke about quicksand. All Survivor fans are worried about untying knots.
The knots.
And it never comes up. Ian, when this episode is under creation, I'm curious. That's a bad way to start this question. Hang on, I gotta get back to my brain. I guess I'm just curious why someone gave Cooper a microphone. That's my first question. Why does Cooper have a microphone?
Because it's funny.
I thought he was gonna do stand-up comedy, and it's just endurance of who can last the longest.
He was recently cast on Saturday Night Live. I don't know if you've heard this, but this is actually, we had to give him the microphone as practice for his debut hosting SNL. So yeah,
a show notoriously where they are always holding microphones.
Yeah, exactly. He's gonna revolutionize the show. It's gonna be crazy. They're gonna start calling it Cooper Night Live. It's gonna be amazing. It'll be like rated R. It'll be rated NC-17, only after dark.
Oh, but, and then like,
I think they in those
Like it was honestly like a stand-up comedy challenge because Cooper would just get like heckled by the players. It was crazy.
The real answer is that in those like auditoriums, they just have
Yeah.
microphones, and I think Cooper was just kind of like, oh, like this will be fun. I'll like use the microphone, but then it like didn't even really work most of the time. So
Yeah.
like, I think he just liked holding it. He thought he sounded important. You know, he likes to sound important. It's very
I didn't
good.
think there was anything cuter than Cooper, and then I saw Cooper with a microphone.
Microphone
Oh.
Cooper. Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys lose the challenge, Adam, and what is going through your mind? Is it like I'm curious what your journey is. Is it I'm always going to vote out Shannon because she fucked up the puzzle? Are you thinking about voting out other people? Like we hear what you say to Dale, and we know that that's a big reason Dale is not a fan of yours. What can you walk me through like the oscillation of like who you wanted to vote out, sort of post challenge, and then sort of up to tribal council?
Yeah, I like that you used the word oscillation because there's a lot of oscillation and like a little like backward rotation. And at one point, I hit my head into a wall, and then I just keep banging against that wall. But
Like
yeah,
a Roomba,
so,
just like
yeah, it's like a Roomba. My friend told me a story about their Roomba and this is important.
Yeah.
They spilled red pop on their floor, and the Roomba just basically pushed it all around and made the spot bigger. I'm the Roomba.
Oh, I love that you say pop too. Oh, you Michigan
But
kids.
But the Shannon thing.
Yeah.
So my initial reasoning was I don't know. I was knowing of Survivor. I knew Survivor ish. And I was like, this game's gonna go hard and it's gonna go fast. Not realizing that, it'd be over over the regular amount that Survivor does. And I'm just like that like I knew that as a fact in my head, but it never fully clicked. So after week 1, when I think I maybe talked to like 2 people, I literally just freaked out and I went crazy. And there's a lot of like meetings of me just stumbling with everyone. And the one thing I noticed is that everyone just kept talking about how absent Shannon has been. And like, Shannon is hockey. Shannon was late for the second challenge, like by like almost like 30 minutes or an hour. So it really felt like to me at that point, it was like Shannon is not here. Shannon's not in the game. So Shannon's the easy vote because to me, I'd only seen Shannon once and it always felt like Shannon was just not there. But it definitely like cycled through between like Shannon and Matt because those were straight men scare me. So instantly, instead of trying to get out of Lisa, I bonded with the girl, my curly haired sister, and was like, straight man, Matt, out. I want him out. But it went back to Shannon.
Oh man. So Ian, I assume you saw a lot of these meetings. First
I've seen
of
all
all,
of them. Yeah.
yeah.
I've seen all of the meetings.
How long was do you remember off the top of your head how long that alliance forming meeting was where they just had to sit and watch the YouTube video? God bless you.
That meeting's at least an hour and a half, I think, if not longer. Because that meeting, and then after that, I think Jackson, he either meets with Eliza right after it also, or he filmed a there's like a good 5 hours of Jackson in that room. Like he may have filmed a confessional before it or after it. I don't know. All I know is that room, I was looking at that room forever. And yeah, that meeting was really long. And the other thing from that meeting is Eliza with like the Jeopardy music or whatever, which I guess that was in the last episode, but that was a lot of that meeting too, is like Kat just kind of like talking about her life and like Eliza and Jackson and Adam just being like, oh yeah, oh that's really interesting. That's great stuff. And you can just tell that Eliza's like, why am I sitting here? I've been here for like, can I get on with my day? Like, I don't need to be doing this all night.
Yeah. So Adam, in your head, what did you think was going to happen? And then how did it manifest in real life?
So part of me like knew something was up, but of course anyone who gets voted out is going to say that. I believed it was this plan, and I had a whole like 2 a.m. panic attack the night before, like mapping it out. There's a whole confessional of me like trying to like hold my phone to my whiteboard while like flipping it horizontally so like the editors can read it at some point. Just going over the crazy like scenarios like, oh, Dale is with Matt, and then this, and then she doesn't like Kat, and Ivy is somewhere. I apparently knew everybody, which I didn't know. There's just like this and this, and I was doing so many crosshatches, and I was like, oh, if Shannon has the idol, then Matt's gonna go home because maybe we can get Shannon to vote Matt instead of like whoever she thinks is gonna go. It was a mess.
Adam, I'd say I think your best bet would have maybe been going after Ivy actually versus like because the way you're describing Shannon, like Ivy in those first couple weeks, like besides the fact that she like knew Nate and Ben and stuff, like she was like put on the wrong tribe, like she was not really talking to tons of people except for like Eliza really and like Dale a little bit. So I feel like maybe you could have gotten some play on Ivy just because I think she wasn't talking to Shannon and Jackson that much. That's for sure. I don't know.
I liked Ivy though. Ivy and I knew
that's the issue, right? Everyone likes her.
Ivy and I knew mutual like people. Like she knew one of my friends from high school who is actually like also like season 2 Bree's roommate in freshman year and is also their like housemate. I digress. Anyway, like so like she knew me through that girl, and then I had also met like Ben the night before the season started at a party. I met half of production at that party. Ben was like, "You're in Survivor," and I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "I'll see you tomorrow," and walked away. I was like, I don't know who this man is. I don't know what he means. I got an apology text from Cooper the next morning.
Ben was doing this thing I remember at the season 3 after party, and also I think it's some other party. Ben was doing this thing where anybody who he thought could feasibly be cast on season 4, he was like promising an alliance to. Like he came up to me at the season 3 after party and was like, he was like, I heard you might apply for season 4, man. Like we would be best allies. Like we'd be perfect allies. Like he was literally saying this to anyone who would there was even the slightest chance they would be on the season.
God.
He was like trying to, if he saw somebody at a party, at any Survivor affiliated party towards the end of the semester season 3 was happening, he was just like, yo, are you applying for Survivor? Like we're going to be in alliance, like final 2 right now before the casting process had even begun.
That's the best part is it wasn't even a Survivor party. It was like middle school prom theme party for like SMTD or the theater school here. And so I have Ben dressed like he's in like 12 years old coming up to me just being like, you're in Survivor? Talk to me tomorrow.
It was like the Godfather. It was unbelievable.
I can't.
You got to respect that level of pre-gaming.
I mean, yes, that's like I love making my Survivor New York alumni squirm when I just mention All Stars, and then you can just see all of them like, are you thinking about it? Should I go talk to some people? Like, and they just sort of like freak out. I love it. It's my favorite. Like I love to fuck with them that way. Jesus Christ, Ben is so funny. But also, I feel like Ivy. It is interesting. We do not see a lot of Ivy in the first couple episodes, to the point where I maybe forgot she was playing. And I think she's great, and I really can't wait to see like the whole Nate, Ben, Ivy situation play out, and maybe however it manifests. But yeah, I think Ivy's level of participation is maybe something to hone in on. And I think the other thing, Adam, is I know that Kat was your ally, and it probably would have been tough to flip on Kat and have people believe you.
She did vote for you, though.
Yeah, she did vote for you.
Yeah.
What were you thinking? Were you thinking ever, especially after the penalty vote comes out, are you thinking you might want to vote for Kat?
Oh, instantly. But I was like my only like group of people willing to talk to me is this 4 that includes Kat. So I can't just like flip. It was very, I don't know. I am always the type of person who like people come to me. And first week of Survivor, 2 people came to me. So I was like, oh shit, I gotta rush. So I was like, Kat, and Kat's the first one I bonded to because I'm like, oh, girl. Girl, not straight, broy man, which I think I was on the wrong tribe. You casted so many homosexuals in this season, and I get on the tribe with all the straight people. I was told postseason that they were like, yeah, we really wanted like a showmance to happen with the gays, and I was like, well, then you did the wrong thing.
They
You
should
did the
have
wrong
swapped.
thing.
They should have swapped you and Camilla because Camilla wants to flirt with everybody, but everyone in her
Right.
tribe is gay. So they could have put Camilla on your tribe, and then she could have flirted with like Jackson and like Matthew or whoever, and then they could have had you, Nate, and Ben on the same tribe, and like sparks would have just flown. That would have been amazing.
Exactly. I could have been the gay Camilla.
Right.
Yeah.
Flirting with the guy in the relationship. Why didn't you flirt with Dale? I don't know. That feels like that could have.
He is
If
married.
Camilla's flirting with
Because
Jack,
he's married,
you're
and I already
flirting
have
with
a
Dale.
track record with married men, and I don't need to extend that track record. Jackson scared me, and Matt's not my type. So I was out. I was like, I gotta go with my
Right.
girls.
Okay, Ian. Okay. Matthew mentions the showmance, and I forgot about this. Was this a real thing that happened in season 1, or is he just being cool?
It's one of those. It's one of those things that's like it's like Schrodinger's showmance is what I would say. Like. I don't know. I'm not gonna out whatever It's really Matthew's. It's really Matthew's business, Brittany's business. I think
it was more like I'm like, did I see that on my screen? I don't remember.
I don't think it was like seriously on the season, but I remember there's definitely episodes where people talked about like, oh, I think Matthew's like into Brittany. Like I feel like Brittany might be into Matthew. That definitely came up on the show, and I know they talked like their love polygon or whatever. So it definitely was brought up on the show. I don't think it was ever like a super real thing, but I think it was like it's enough of a thing that I think he felt like it'd be funny to bring it up again.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
That's
so I was sitting there being like, did I?
No,
I mean, I would have 100% stand it if I saw it, but I don't think I saw it.
In terms of like the Survivor Michigan showmances, it's definitely like pretty low on the list.
Right.
I'd say
it's not a Thal and Liz. We all know. I'm just kidding, guys. They're all adults with their own lives. And
yeah, no comment on that one.
No comment. So let's talk about Kat's penalty vote real quick. I mean, icon, legend, survives with penalty vote. Cooper gets to vote, so thank you, Kat, for that blessing. So Matthew in the Discord, if you're not a part of the Survivor Reddit Discord, there is a Survivor Michigan channel. We're all in there chatting our little days away. And Matthew shared his snitching moment. I loved that this whole thing is that it's like, who's the snitch? Like, and Kat's there being like, I know it's one of my alliance mates. And it was so funny.
I wish that I had put that in the episode now after seeing that him send that. I wish I had thought to ask him for that screenshot and then we could have put it in the episode because it would have been funny.
Yes, it would have been very funny. Well, because I think that Matt is entirely justified in this. I'm going to be curious about your take, Adam. And I also think that Kat is probably someone who didn't know the rules well enough to understand that talking to Aaron in this way does have ramifications, even if it seems small. Like, I mean, you know what the rules are. I feel like if you're not like a Survivor super fan, you're like, oh, well, what's the harm going to be of my friend telling me what happened? She's not in the game anymore. And like, that the answer is there's a lot of shit that can go down, so don't fucking do that. Adam first, and then Ian, I know you're dying to say something. Adam, what did you think of this moment? Would you have snitched?
No, because Kat was my number one and only ally. Plus I thought, I was like, it's Kat. What is Kat gonna do with this information? And I wouldn't have fault her. Because I also was like very hyper, like, what are the rules of real Survivor? Well, I can't talk to the other team, so I didn't talk to the other team at all. Finding out other people were, I was like, oh wow, I guess this is college Survivor. I forgot. And it was just so funny how Kat handled it, because Kat is probably the most I don't give a fuck attitude that I have ever met, especially when it comes to Survivor. So
she gave a lot of fuck about that challenge, though. Let's be real.
She will find everything and anything wrong.
Yeah.
But I was just like nervous because I thought my alliance was going to turn on Kat. And I was like sitting there like, oh, I'm surprised no one came to like say we should vote out Kat or whatever. Well, lo and behold, I know the reason why now.
So, Ian, what do you have to say on Aaron Gate?
Well, I can speak to the production angle a little bit because there was actually much discussion about what to do about this. And in actuality, what the reason why she ended up getting the penalty vote was actually because what happened was she was actually at first just like warned because they thought she just didn't understand the rules, and then it came out that she was continuing to talk to Aaron about this stuff after she had been warned, and that's when they gave her the penalty vote. So basically, like. Yeah, so like, she got the penalty vote after because at first they were kind of like, okay, I feel like maybe she didn't understand the rules. Like they're both in a sorority, like that's fair enough, whatever. The funniest thing about it is that Aaron and Kat, it seemed like they weren't even really that good of friends before all this happened. But then because they were like on Survivor, then they like started talking about it all the time. And again, Aaron probably doesn't know anything particularly useful anyways, but it's still sort of the principle of the matter. But there was a lot of debate over what to do about it. And then I've seen that there was some people in the comments section and stuff who were saying that she should have been like kicked out of the show, which I don't agree with at all. But there's people who were saying that. At the end of the day, I think it was a pretty minor infraction, and like she ultimately I don't think it's really a spoiler to say like she didn't do it again after that point.
Yeah. So just to read out, because Matthew was so nice to send it into the Discord. Matt just says Aaron is spilling major tea from the pre-jury Ponderosa to Kat, who is telling her alliance of Adam, Jackson, and Eliza. Stuff about never trust Nate, never trust Camilla, Nate lied about some clue, etc. So this stuff is all, I would say, pretty minor and doesn't affect her on her tribe. So I don't think it's worth kicking out. I mean, we literally saw in Survivor Maryland, like a juror was talking to a finalist and they didn't get kicked out of the jury. Like that's just how it is. The person is there and you can't get rid of them. But I think the penalty vote was the way to go. I love penalizing challenges. So it's like your fuck up cost the tribe. I always love doing that. But a penalty vote is a great way to really put the target on your back and be like, hey, you just fucked over your whole tribe. You're screwing them. And this is great drama, Like I thought they were all gonna vote for Kat now because in my shoes, go ahead, Ian. You're probably agreeing with me.
Oh, I completely agree with you. I was impressed by Kat's level of confidence at the tribal. Like at the tribal, Cooper's first question is, do you think, you might be getting votes? She's like, no, like I'm fine. Like nothing bad's gonna happen to me. I was like, how could you think that? How could you feel so fine?
I was shocked. I was like, holy, this bitch is iconic. And the Shannon Kat feud is, I mean, thank God that's still continuing at the very least. And Shannon trying to fake cry in her confessional was so fucking funny. I love her. I love her so much. I would die for Shannon. And she calls Jackson a double chocolate chip cookie. Like she is gold. Just as much as Ben is gold, just as much as like Dylan was gold. Shannon is fucking gold. Mark my words.
That chocolate chip cookie line killed that. That line, I stumbled across that like 3 days. This episode had been done for like a long time. And I stumbled across that clip like 3 days before the episode was supposed to come out. And I was like, oh my God, how is this not in here? How have we not used this? This hat, are you kidding me? This is gold. So I was glad I found that. She was hilarious.
Oh my God. Yeah. And so Adam, what, if you were to go back, like, would you have aligned with Kat or would you have tried to align with other people on your tribe? Like if you think about it in that, hindsight is 2020, is there somebody that you didn't connect with that maybe you wish you had? Or do you just maybe wish that your bond with like Eliza and Jackson was stronger? What's the rewriting history here?
I would honestly go back and probably form a greater connection. Idealistically, it'd be with Dale. Realistically, it would be with Matthew. Because Dale is a straight man, but he's also like 30 something. He's like 28. He's like 30 something though in my mind.
Right.
So that would have been like, oh, he was like fun and like nice and not like this like stick in the mud.
Yeah.
So I was like, Dale was where I wanted to go, but like anxiety levels, I was just like, and then the whole gay thing, I was just like, I don't know how this is gonna work out. And then I wanted to go to Matthew because Matthew was just like Dale, but like less threatening in terms of like how he was in perception to me.
Yeah, and I do think that like what we know now is that like the Dale and Jackson bond is very strong and there's a lot going for it. So do you necessarily want to align with two guys who you can probably guess have already found each other? I wouldn't. I would be kind of like Elisa, right? You're on the outside, but that bond is pretty darn close at this point. And I loved Jackson's confessionals this episode were also like iconic. I just love his energy, and I love that he's like, I may be told on Kat. I don't know. Who's to say? Like, he got such a great like.
He encourages it. He's like, I would encourage cheating if you could get away with it.
He encourages children to cheat, which I love.
He's a lawyer. This man is in law. This man is now a lawyer. Was in law school at that point. I was like, these are the people we have, you know, writing the laws and helping our society.
The famed Michigan alumni. Yeah, kids shoplift a little. Who knows? Yeah, it might be fun.
Leaders and the best right there.
Yeah, this season, leaders and best part too.
I will say, when I first found out that like Jackson was being compared to an oatmeal raisin cookie, I was like, that makes so much sense. Because when you're talking to Jackson, it's just like the most like straight dude broy energy, and I'm like, bland and basic, all right. But watching his confessionals, I was like, there's some flavor here. There are some chocolate chips. There might be like a little like pecan in there somewhere, you know? Like I don't know what Jackson is doing, but he needs to start acting how he does in his confessionals to other people, because I would have found him way more entertaining if he did.
He's great TV.
He's so good TV.
He really is. I love him. And when I guess, Adam, so like, let's talk about idol hunting for a second, because your tribe basically is full of idol monsters. Did you go look for did you look for the idol hard? Did you give up? What was your idol hunting like?
So yeah, I'm glad that my entire idol hunt got knocked out, because that was it just, if anything, it just painted me in a bad light. So I went to idol hunt after 2 weeks of trying to narrow it down. I had a whole like whiteboard that had like a diagram of the limits of where the idols were, and I circled areas on the map where I think they could be, for like trying to figure it out. Like even like I was like Googling like questions about what the riddle was. Like the first riddle was like protected like a Newburn foal. So I was like, where are the horse statues on this campus? I demand to see your horse statues, because I'm like, it says foal, horse. And then I was like, where are your grassy knolls? Because that was also part of the first like riddle for the idol. So I was like, knolls, horses, where is this place on campus? And once I finally got that entire like area narrowed down to like 4 or 5 spots, I decided it would be a very smart idea to what I called Operation Polar Vortex. I went out in like polar vortex when it was like -20, -35, maybe -40 degrees out, and it had just snowed, and I was like digging through the snow, and I think I spent maybe like 3 hours out there just looking. My eyelashes were frozen over. I was like talking about how stupid I looked, because it's just this, you know, this twink in the middle of a field kicking snow around a statue. So I'm just like, this is not, if anyone sees me, I'm gonna look like a crazy person.
Right.
So after that, it was just like, winter is too cold here in Michigan for me to get my ass out there multiple times. 1 3-hour session, I'm done.
Yeah, that's a wrap. Ian, I want to talk about 3 more comedic highlights of this episode. One, what I think should have been the title. Camilla says, final 2, that's the I love you of Survivor. And I don't know if I'm ready to say that yet. What a queen. I love that bitch. She is so funny. And that makes me laugh so much that she's like, very smart. I don't want to rush into a final 2. But then she's also like, there is so much pressure when you put an I love you on. So I had me screaming. Ian, what talk to me about Camilla the icon.
I think Camilla's absolutely amazing on the show, because not only is she was made to be on reality TV. Not only is her confessionals absolute gold and she's hilarious, but she also has like a really good sense for the game and like is really good at talking to people. And so she like she says stuff in a really goofy way that is actually like pretty smart, you know, like saying I almost totally want to go to the end with him, you know, but that's like a huge commitment, and I don't want to make any kind of commitment. Is like she says it in a really goofy ass way, but it's actually like a pretty intelligent and very smart thing she's saying. And I feel like she says that kind of stuff all the time. It's hilarious. Like she has another great one. I think it's this episode where she's saying that Nate told her, like, do you think people realize that we're like really close or whatever? And she's
Yes,
like,
and she's like,
oh yeah, yeah. Oh, that's weird. They'll never suspect it. And she's like, I don't think anyone knows we're close. She's like, well, because like I don't even think we're close. I was like, this is just so good.
Oh, it's her delivery too. She's just like, I don't even think we're close. And then her fake laugh is so funny. She's like, heh, heh. Like she's got like such a funny fake laugh too.
Her little laugh, it's unreal. She's on a different level. The cast for this season, like there's no duds in this cast. Like this cast was the best cast we ever put together. That's for sure. They were just crazy people.
Yes.
In the best way possible.
And the other funny moment I love, basically Matthew being the like, call an ambulance, but not for me meme, where he's like, I was really busy planning a funeral. Fucking sent me. And then also Matthew, what we know now is he was quoting Boston Rob when he votes. Oh, another funny moment we'll talk about. But he's quoting Boston Rob when he votes for Kat to go home because he's part of the plan, but not voting for the right person. I loved this. What did he say again? Ian, do you remember off the top of your head?
Yeah, what he said, I love playing with you newbies. You just make it so easy. Like, thanks for the memories. So Boston Rob is his favorite Survivor of all time, you know? And Matthew's like the Survivor super fan of super fans. He's seen like every episode. He knows everything that's ever happened. So he's constantly quoting Boston Rob. And he said like going into this season that he wanted to be Boston Rob. Like this was going to be Redemption Island with him as Boston Rob, like masterminding everything. We'll see if that shakes out, you know? But that's definitely what he like wants it to be. And what he like he kind of sees himself as the lion. Like he wants to be the Boston Rob of Survivor Michigan. Whether or not that works out for him is a different story, but I think it's amazing that he goes as hard as he does in his confessionals and stuff.
Yeah, there's Boston Rob and Michigan Matt, and they will be on the same level. He needs a hat. I don't know why he doesn't have a hat with like an M on it. Like that would really be.
He needs a hat with like an M and like a lion on it.
Exactly. And also y'all got me with that Shannon vote where she just goes like, Kat, like I can't fucking stand you, but I'm voting for Adam.
That is really like the like call an ambulance but not for me. Like, she literally is like, she's like, Kat, I fucking hate you, but I'm voting for Adam. So see ya, Adam. Like tough. That's I'm Jackson's type. You're not. Sucks to suck. Like just unbelievable. The level of, like the amount that people in this cast talk about how attractive Jackson is also hilarious. It's just like collectively agreed upon. This man is beautiful.
He's so fucking pretty.
One thing that I thought was really funny that I don't think anyone like has brought this up. They probably wouldn't have noticed, but in the trailer for season 4, I had Camila talking about she wants to flirt with a bunch of people, followed by Adam saying like his quote about Jackson, but it's cut in the trailer so it looks like he's talking about Camila, and he's like so attractive or something like that. And I was like, this is like the opposite of queer baiting people. Like this is like straight baiting. Like people think that like I'm making them think this guy's like really into Camila, but really he's talking about like horn dog Jackson over here. And I just personally thought that was really funny.
I noticed it, Ian. Don't worry. I was like, okay,
me?
All right.
Say that about
Camila? I mean, you know what? Camila's so pretty. Love Camila. Camila gives me like Lavana energy, but like if Lavana had watched any Survivor at all.
Camila is Lavana if Lavana also like kind of knew what she was doing, basically.
Yes.
Camila gives me like if you put Camila on The Circle on Netflix, she would be perfect casting for The Circle. Like winner chicken dinner. Like she's got such a great energy. I'm kind of upset that Camila is not my winner pick anymore, but we'll see.
Cooper has joked a lot that like they should cast Camila on a different season of all freshman guys, and she'll just win instantly. She'll just win the game. Like just put her on a season of like all straight men, and like she'll just win instantly because her whole strat, she'll just be like, she'll just win. She'll be completely fine with it too.
Yeah, I've pitched Survivor Straight Man Island before, but my Survivor New York Straight Man Island, but my co-producer does not go for it. Because there's just so many that apply that I'm like, let's just get them all out of the way. One season, we're like 20 of them. Let's go. Knock the casting pool.
That's the best thing I fucking heard all
genius.
day.
That's genius.
It would be a nightmare because it'd be like, Dan, Mike. Brian. Like it would just be like.
I want to do a season called Divas versus Doofuses. So like one tribe is all like really like high level like Ice Queen killers base. It's like
powerful women, godmothers.
It's like Victoria from Survivor Maryland and like Sarah Z and like Liz and like Camilla, and they're just running people over, just murdering them basically. And the other tribe is like all first boots or like people who have no idea what's going on.
Yeah,
and then you just see what happens.
Like captained by like Richard and Nick and like
exactly. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Happens. Oh man, Icon Richard, who gets added by Aaron in the mat,
that was
in
hilarious.
the mat screen grab.
That was
hilarious. I love that. I love a good like you need to get in here and see this right now. I love production.
Well, no, what she was adding him at was that Matthew said something like, it's not like a first boot would know that much anyways, and Aaron tagged Richard because he was the first boot. That's why she did that. It was even more savage than you think. She would have said at Richard Marks because he was the first boot. Like season 3 people had zero chill about their season. Like they literally would continue to poke at each other. Poke is like a soft word for it. Like point sticks at each other and aggravate each other about their season.
Just like they're always constantly like whittling down a stick to stab at somebody else.
Yes, it's
oh my god. Woo, Jesus. That's what I love about Survivor Michigan is that like you guys very clearly have such a strong community, but also you guys are all assholes. And I love it. Like
I've said before that it's a blessing and a curse that like when you cast people for the show, you're looking for the most drama, the most chaotic people as possible, basically, who would make good TV. And that doesn't necessarily make for the best like production team afterwards to have all those people who've now spent like a whole semester like kind of hating each other. Now they all have to like work together. And we've done a pretty good job of it on the whole, but like if you talk to like lots of college Survivor people across different schools, a lot of these clubs, like ours included, has had issues, in the way their production has run. And I think that's just built into the nature of it with the organization you're building up. The basis of it is voting each other out. Like there's no way around that ultimately.
Oh yeah, there's no. I mean, it happens in Fake Survivor too. And shout out to my friend Emily Paddock. And I feel like that it happens to everybody, and it's okay. We don't have to like everyone, but when you're in a club together, it sucks.
No. There's no rule. Everybody has at least one person from their own season that they're like will never forgive for whatever reason, and I think it's completely justified, honestly. And everyone's allowed to have that.
I love holding a grudge, and I love that you guys hold a grudge. Like it's such good. I mean, whenever All Stars happens, because I'm sure it's going to. I don't know anything. I just know that I have a feeling, and
we'll see. No promises.
Okay. Keep being coy. Whatever. I have a feeling that if you have this many crazy people, you're doing it All Stars. Is my theory, and I can't wait to see just like the sparks fly. I mean, even with this season, like when Ben was like teased, I was like, oh my god, Dr. Will's gonna be on it, and they're just gonna like fist fight in the first episode. Like, oh my god, I was like so scared that it's gonna be like Will versus Ben again. Oh man,
I would have done it, but I feel like some people would not have been down for that again. But I would have been down for it. I've been like, let's just run it back. It's amazing. It's good TV.
Yeah. Let's just because that would have been like a Russell Hantz or like an Ozzy and Coach kind of thing of just like, hey, we have 2 lunatics. They're gonna join your tribe. Here you go. And I love both of them. It's like, oh my god, they're only sort of lunatics in the vicinity of each other. I think is the way to think.
It's so strange because Will and Ben, both individually, are two of the nicest people I've ever met. They are such nice people. They don't really hold grudges in real life. They don't like. They're extremely nice. They actually, I think they get on pretty well with each other these days, like, and with most people. And just in that one particular instance of Survivor, they both just like went to this absolute madman place.
Survivor brings out the worst, but it's the best.
Yeah, I gotta watch that season again. So Adam, as we're kind of look, we don't have to end just yet, but what else do we need to talk about with your Survivor journey? What else do we need to know? What's the gossip? What's the bullshit we didn't see? What do you want to say? Go off, King.
I'm trying to think what was like cut out of the episode, because I feel like as much as like my footage was there, and I was proudly one of the few consistent uploaders of season 4, and I hold that badge with pride. I think a lot of it was just panic attacks at 2 in the morning. I remember specifically listening to the first episodes of Keep Your Torch Lit and freaking out, just trying to figure out what was going on. You know, crazy, kooky, strategic wise, I wasn't all there. I knew going in, like socially, that was going to be my strong suit. And then I saw my tribe, and I was like, I feel physically uncomfortable with this tribe because of the straight men. Because straight men scare the shit out of me, and I could not tell you why.
Like
But I was like,
I am uncomfortable with the energy we have created in the studio here.
Yes, I was like, these boys are gonna just kick the shit out of me in terms of this competition. I feel it. I feel it. So going strong with the girls, I thought was an option. But none of them reached out to me except Kat when I like asked her to hang out one night. So like I was just at the end of my rope, wanting to play. May not have like the knowledge or the mind of a super fan, but I put my heart into everything I do, 100% or 0%. That's how I do things. So my heart was like, you know what? You know what you need to do to secure your spot. And while it's not coming to you and it's not happening, you can still force to happen. So instead of, being the one that no one liked, you're the one who went too hard.
Ian, anything coming to mind that like we didn't see that you maybe think we should talk about?
The only thing I would say is what do you guys think about I guess Adam, but what do you think about the little tease at the end that Eric from Real Survivor is going to be potentially making an appearance? What do you think? What do you make of that?
What do you mean potentially making an appearance? Like you guys literally were like, by the way, Eric is gonna be here. Tune in. Like that's what that.
I mean, yeah, that's what you're gonna do, though.
I mean, I loved it. I'm so excited. I know Eric's in Michigan. I know that there have been talks about like Eric wanted to do a live reality game at one point. I'm psyched for you guys. I'm psyched that not only is this the week of Survivors that you missed because this episode is coming out. Chrissy Hoffbeck just fucking stopped by to say hi to one of your future players. That was crazy. I like that hit the timeline and I was like, what a day this is.
She slid into our DMs basically and was like, do you guys have anybody who's like in nursing? Like my daughter wants to study nursing, yada yada. And we were like, do we have the perfect person who was formerly a tour guide who is like, you guys don't know, Adam knows her, you don't know her yet, but you will know her. And she was one of them, like just the best possible person you would want to do this basically. So we were like, oh yeah, like we're sending you to Taylor. Like that's what's gonna happen here.
It's gonna be even more iconic than I genuinely can't even remember who this person was or what show they were on, like which college survivor, but the guy whose uncle was Brendan Shapiro. Was that you guys?
No, that guy is on
is it on UVA?
No, he was on UVA. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
His name was what was that guy's name? I don't know. He got voted out really early on in Survivor.
Look, I didn't cover UVA. I don't remember. Yes.
That was a great season, though. I always plug that season. Great season.
Good season.
I will say that the next.
Go ahead.
The next episode, this episode that Eric is on, partially because of the whole Eric thing, partially because of like some of the other funny segments in it, is in contention for my favorite episode of all of Survivor Michigan. Okay. It is in the top 5. Like it is a just hilarious romp. That is what I will say. The next, like, there's just a lot packed into that, and I'm like, this. I've been waiting like since episode 1. I was like, I cannot wait for people to see episode 4 because this one is just wild. So that is what I will say.
I'm fucking psyched, but you're gonna have to do a lot to top Cooper holding a microphone for me. Or what did Cooper do? Did he do like a fucking
Cooper wanted me to cut out him voting. He said we don't need to see me voting. I was like, yes, we do. I was like, no.
Cooper, come on. That was iconic too.
Cooper's trying to downplay himself. He does it like I don't know. The fans
were people making fun of Cooper for playing season 1? Like, because everybody talks about how Matthew was on season 1, of course, but so was Cooper. Were people making fun of Cooper?
there was a lot of it that's like off camera. Like, and people didn't film as much talking about Cooper, I think, because he wasn't like playing, so it wasn't important to them to film talking about it. But there was a lot of jokes made about it, like at challenges, like at between tribals and stuff. Camila was like flirting with Cooper at like every tribal, every challenge, and like that was the storyline I really wanted to get into the show because I remember being so funny in real life, but it didn't really pan out on camera. Like it wasn't really there that like every challenge, Camila was like, Cooper, what's the next like challenge gonna be? And Cooper would be like, I can't tell you that. She's like, no, but yeah, you could. He's like, no, like I really can't though. And that was like every week that would happen. Every tribal, she'd be like, is it a swap next week? Cooper's like, I can't tell you anything. She's like, but you could tell me though. He's like, no, I can't. Like I wish that could have gone on because it's fucking hilarious. But at least people can know. They can watch this and know this is the thing that happened. Yeah, like to this day, like Cooper, I don't think. We like I bet Cooper and Camille probably haven't talked in like at least a year or so since the pandemic. And when the season 4 trailer dropped or whatever, we have a group chat with like everybody.
Yeah.
And Camila like popped into it or something, and then Cooper said something, and then Camila was like, "Oh, Cooper, I've missed you, babe. Like, what's going on?" Like, this is a whole thing that Camila like flirts with Cooper. This is hilarious, and the world needs to know about it. So now they do.
I kind of really hope that. Yeah, I really hope that Camila finding out that Jack has a girlfriend I really hope that storyline is in this season. I would love to see that play out.
No, he told her. He told her like at the beginning, but that means nothing to Camila.
That means nothing to Camila.
No, it does not matter at all. She does not care.
Adam, did you have an overall good experience at the end of the day playing Survivor Michigan?
I did. I had so much fun. I've made so many friends in this organization, I guess you could call it. Mm-hmm. Best time of my life. Cried for days afterwards. Literally stayed up till like 6 a.m. the day I got voted out, listening to Billie Eilish because her new album just came out, and I was like, perfect. The universe knew. Posted a bunch of Snapchats to my story, which I regretted the next morning. Nothing too scandalous. Just be like, poor me, poor little gay boy. But it was a great time. I still think of it fondly 2 years later, even though I was like really worried about the season coming out and, very protective of how people were going to see me. It was hands down my college experience.
People definitely loved you, dude. You had tons of fans. There was a lot of people. I saw a few people saying you were like in their top tier, like the first episode, thinking they were going to go super far.
A cute guy on Twitter called me too hot to go home. Yes. I'd like to give him a shout out. Thank you. My confidence. Ooh, if you're single, you know my Twitter. I liked your tweet. Hit me up. That goes to all the other like single gay men out there.
Yeah, honestly, if you join the live reality game community, there's a lot. And we love them all very much. They're there.
I am well aware, please. You know who you're speaking to. This is Adam John Swinsky. Like, don't even.
Yeah.
I'm a resident homosexual, which, I need to address that real quick.
Yeah, you can.
You could be like in a dorm. Do you think instead of a resident, there should be a resident homosexual? I think that would be good.
Instead of an RA,
you wanted that to be the Chiron, right? The Chiron or whatever.
I don't remember. I texted Ian like a week ago, and I was like, "You should change my Chiron to this, something stupid." But 2019 Adam, God bless his soul. There's been so much growth. Because let me just say this. Never, ever in a game or in real life should you introduce yourself as, "Hi, my name's Adam. My fun fact is that I'm gay." I had so many other fun facts, but that was always just my go-to. Well, the gay boys, stop relying on your sexuality to straight.
You said that you introduce yourself that way, but it's like you're saying like I'm your like token gay guy. I'm like, there's like 4 gay people on this season. Like you're not even like, what are you like?
And that was my intention. Y'all ruined it.
Like, bro, this is literally like a live reality game or whatever. Like you really think you're the only gay person? You're obviously not. Like don't even try.
The gays love Survivor.
I was so like, this is gonna be like Survivor. So there's gonna be like one gay person, right. And then it's gonna be college Survivor. So it's gonna be like beer pong and like, I was just thinking of it as like a frat. So I was like, all right, frat culture. Let's go.
Amen. Oh man. So Adam, would you ever do a different game, another game? Are you interested in participating more? Or you're like, that's a wrap on Survivor.
Oh no. I've I've since gotten into the world of orgs.
Oh no.
So
Oh
I've
no.
been playing those consistently to the detriment of my mental health.
Yep. Amen.
Adam and I did one together last summer.
We
You
did.
played
We
org?
did.
Oh, Ian's playing orgs now. Wow.
Survivor
Everybody's
Michigan
got-
we do like a summer
Right.
org for Survivor Michigan every summer. So last summer, Adam and I we were very close allies for part
For
of
a
the
quick
game.
bit. For a
Part
good
of it.
few rounds.
Yeah, I remember last year Chloe told me she won one of them, right? And I was like, "Oh, go off, bitch!"
Yeah,
like,
she
I
did,
love-
and then she vowed never to play in the next ones, which, as far as I'm concerned, is just pure cowardice. Like, you're basically saying that the first time was a fluke. If you're unwilling to ever play again, it seems like it means you think you wouldn't win again. It feels like cowardice to me, honestly. So
Okay,
I'm putting
call
that
her
out there.
out. All right.
I am,
That was
yeah.
a good game. The
The
one
next-
Chloe won,
the
I
next
will
one
say,
Chloe
was a
should
good
play
game.
again. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. I can't wait to see just like an hour-long screen recording just going through like the chats of that and just being like, okay, that's the season. There you go.
We've made so many jokes about like you could do a whole specials about like the behind the scenes drama, or like, you know, who like hooked up with who after the show ended, or like who these online games over the summer. There's just like so much random shit like that because it's college students, so there's always gonna be ridiculous drama. I was like, that would be like some of that stuff you could just write. You could write novels on how this messed up everybody's lives for years to come.
How emotionally traumatized they all are. I think you can do that for live reality games too. I know we don't talk about that enough, but like the friendships you make and then the messiness you get into with the friendships, it's worthwhile. It's a lot of fun. Check out your local live reality game. I'm so glad that you're playing orgs. I hope they help you feel more like you're like, I feel like this shouldn't be the symbol of you, right? This one showing isn't the end all of Adam as a player. And I'm glad that, like, because I feel like that's what orgs kind of help us do. They help us move on from the loss and go on to the next one.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Awesome. Well, guys, my stomach hurts because I've been laughing so much. Thank you both for joining me. I can't wait to see Ian's favorite episode of the season of all time. Ian, what do you think?
I'm not going to say it's my favorite of the season or of all time. Those are bold claims. I'm saying that it is one of my favorites of the season, and, you know, whatever. And I think it's one of my favorites because I think it's just really fun and a lot of fun stuff happens in it. That's what I'll say. We have Eric on the show. Like, that's a good time. Come on.
Yeah,
like, that's fun. And
that's
the challenge. This challenge is hilarious, as Adam can speak to.
Not firsthand.
Not firsthand, sadly.
Oh man. Well, Adam, thank you for being here. I'm so glad we got to talk. I really loved your 3-episode. I would say, like, I don't want to call it an arc. Like, it was truly like a rocket ship just taking off, and I loved watching it. Thank you. I'm so glad you're here to talk to us on Discord and all that fun stuff. Here's what everybody needs to do. Well, Adam, thank you so much. Thank you again. I just like got you off, but thank you for being our resident homosexual on this episode. So here's what everyone needs to do. They need to go to the Survivor subreddit, get on Survivor subreddit, then go to the Discord, then get involved in the Survivor Michigan channel. Those are all words that I now know because I've spent too much time on Discord. Subscribe to Survivor Michigan. Check out Keep Your Torch Lit, another podcast that covers Survivor Michigan with Sam, Sarah, and Jack, right? Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't listened a lot. And then you should also check out Live Reality Games on Facebook. Check out our group where you can find out about games that are being hosted or even available to join. And then like us and subscribe on YouTube. I don't know. You got a lot of content to do. If you're watching this, you know, let's go. Get started. We're going to end, and you're going to go subscribe to everything. Thank you guys so much. And